All right, Nick, let's talk about the LSU Tigers. This is a team, great offensive firepowers, a lot of weapons on this LSU offense, but the defense this past year kind of lacking, really not in where a great spot where you'd want an LSU style of defense to be, 82nd in points, outside the top 100 in total yards per game. So, what does Brian Kelly do? He goes out and starts to rebuild this defense, getting some great coaches to help turn things around. And today is the day this coaching addition is going to be huge for the LSU Tigers. Let's get into the article and talk about it on the other side. This is from The Athletic. It says, Bo Davis, the veteran defensive line coach who helped develop one of the best units in the country this season at Texas, has accepted the same position at LSU. Head coach Brian Kelly announced on Wednesday Davis, whom Texas coach Steve Sarkisian hired to his original staff in 2021, became one of Sarkisian's most valuable assistants during his tenure. Under David's tutelage, Longhorns defensive linemen Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy developed into one of the nation's fiercest tandems. The Texas went from 114th in the FBS and yards per rush allowed in 21 to 5th in 2023. That is an astronomical leap. Texas's transformation on defense was a key component of the Longhorns' run to the college football playoff. Davis also played a role in changing the culture in Austin. Davis's style and expectations set a tone for his unit that proved to be pivotal in its turnaround. Nick, I think this is a great hire. It is a tone-setting hire. It is a defensive, mindedness hire. I think Bo Davis is going to add a lot to this LSU Tigers defense. Guys want to play for him. He really put on a great show at Texas, developing some very good defensive players here. I think this just overall was a really smart move by Coach Kelly. I'm curious what your thoughts on this one are, but LSU fans, let us know in the comment section below. What do you think about the transformation of this defense so far? There's been some great transfer portal additions, this new coaching turnaround. Do you think this could be a top 25 defense in the country next year? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this latest addition for the Tigers?
So I think the key word that was mentioned during the report that you brought up in terms of this hiring is the development, right? It wasn't like the Texas Longhorns was a team that couldn't recruit talent and they were able to recruit talent because of this assistant, right? That's never been the issue with Texas. Texas has always been one of the top recruiting programs in the country year after year after year after year. Even when they weren't winning a lot of games, they were still recruiting very well. What this guy is very good at, what Coach Davis is very good at, to be very clear, he's very good at developing young defensive linemen and having them achieve their maximum potential. That was the biggest problem, in my opinion, and I think a lot of LSU fans would agree with the Tigers defense this past season, right? It wasn't that they didn't have a lot of talent. This is LSU we're talking about, right? They one of the better recruiting programs in the country, not too far from Texas, obviously, in terms of recruiting rankings. They bring in a lot of elite talent on both sides of the ball, but they've only been really able to develop the offensive side of the ball to their full potential. The defense, especially this past season, it really reared its ugly head as lacking the development needed to keep up with the offense. I think bringing in Coach Davis is a great move by Coach Kelly to address that problem. Because again, you don't want to try and fix the problem by not understanding what the issue is. LSU still gets talent. That is not up for debate. The Tigers recruit as good as anybody in the entire country in terms of elite talent, especially on defense. I mean, this is one of the best defensive back programs in the country in terms of recruiting. Historically, defensive line is up there as well. They obviously have a lot of great linebacker athletes over the years and how they've played in certain situations, gone on to the NFL, done a lot of great things. There's been a lot of elite level talent at LSU historically and currently on this defense as well. It just hasn't been developed into a cohesive unit. So bringing in a developer as a coach is the way you address that problem. You don't need to bring in a recruiter. Recruiting is fine. You need to bring in a guy to harness and develop and grow that talent to achieve its maximum capability. Because remember, a four-star recruit is only a four-star recruit based on their high school performance. If they go to the college football ranks and they never get any better, by the time they're a junior, they're basically playing like a one-star recruit would be playing, right? They're not playing up to their potential. Bringing in Coach Davis will allow them to play up to their potential because he's the kind of guy that brings out the best in his players. I think this is a great move by Coach Kelly and LSU, and you should see immediate dividends and also long-term dividends as well because of this coaching hire.
Yeah, and this is a guy in Bo Davis who really has had a heck of a career as far as just his track record. If people want to go a little bit more into it, this guy that cut his teeth over at Alabama to begin with, helped get a lot of great defensive line guys develop there. Then he comes over to Texas and does a lot of great work here as well. And like you said, I think this is a guy who can come into LSU and really start to develop some of this top tier talent that LSU has. This is a guy who's very familiar with the area, Southeast Texas. He's been around these players. He knows what kind of guys you're going to get in a program like this. So I just think overall, this is a really great move, and I'm excited to see what other additions Coach Kelly does to help focus on this defensive side of the ball and bring back this LSU defense to what its former glory used to be.
And especially Mize, now that, of course, as I'm sure as most people know by now, that Nick Saban has retired, the SEC West just got a lot more wide open than it was in the past. So now is the time, if you have talent like LSU does, take advantage of this opportunity and assert your dominance. I think this hire will help them develop the guys up front and help this LSU Tigers defense complete the turnaround they need to return to the top of the SEC.